I started in the Bigfoot field in 1956. I was trekking in the Himalaya, a small expedition to look for the Yeti, and made contact with this Texan called Tom Slick, this oil man. He became a very good friend. So to make a long story short, I signed up with him. I spent 3 years in the Himalaya looking for the Yeti. When I came down from that, he invited me to come to the States. He said, you spent enough time up there, come to the States and look for Bigfoot. And I have to say, I laughed. But I came over here and got into the search for Bigfoot. In the whole history of Bigfoot, there's been one piece of footage, 16 millimeter footage, taken by two men, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin. Patterson has died, passed away. I met him, interviewed him half a dozen times before he died. He came across to me as thoroughly credible. His associate, Bob Gimlin, is a man of great integrity, very much admired. He lives in Washington still, and I believe his story of what happened, the whole thing.
Peter Byrne ran an organization called the Bigfoot Research Project, and I became part of his project. And we paid for a group of scientists to analyze the Patterson film and prove that it was a guy in a gorilla suit. So we dropped about $500,000, and we couldn't do it. We really tried to use pure science and approach it with hard science.
The Patterson-Gimlin film clearly stands as the most compelling photographic evidence that we have to date, even in this age of iPhones and digital cameras and so forth. It still has set the mark so high. And not only do we have the film, but we have a remarkable track record associated with it. The cast that Roger Patterson executed himself on the day of the filming, but also some number of days later, Bob Titmus, a researcher from Canada, came to the scene and made a series of 10 footprint casts that provided a remarkable record. But having the image of the track maker combined with the tracks as an anatomist, as a functional morphologist, I'm as convinced as I can be, short of having stood there on the sandbar on that afternoon and witnessed the event myself. The suggestion that you'd work around the challenge of finding an oversized human male subject by portraying a female falls to the wayside when you scrutinize the specifics of what would have to be a fursuit and someone to fill that fursuit, which is just virtually impossible, especially given the technologies available in 1967. This is a piece of evidence that stands up under remarkable rigor that couldn't have possibly anticipated the technologies that we are applying to it today.
We had a great copy. We could see the muscles moving under the fur with the resolution we had. Everything that we did find in the film suggested it was actual observations of an uncatalogued animal. There's an occipital protuberance on the back of the skull, and it has a point on the back of the skull where all the back muscles attach. It was designed for walking erect, which is a hominid variation. So it's not a primate, it's a hominid.